At some point, depth stops feeling like comfort and starts turning into a real fight. And that is exactly where the Chargers are sitting right now. You have speed battling for survival, a veteran offensive lineman who could help protect Justin Herbert, a rookie ready to push for somebody's job, a draft pick that fans are still debating, and even that big-name rumor that just refuses to go away. In Los Angeles, nobody gets to hide behind their resume. If you want real analysis with energy, no soft takes, and no fear of the debate, subscribe to the channel right now. The first battle begins in a room where too many people only look at names and forget what training camp really does. It separates role from reputation. The Chargers' wide receiver room is crowded. Ladd McConkey is a central piece. Quentin Johnston is still part of the plan. Trey Harris still carries real investment. Keandre Lambert-Smith brings size and speed. Brennan Thompson arrives as a fourth-round pick with that 4.26 speed that makes an offensive coordinator smile when he opens the playbook. And right in the middle of all that traffic is Derius Davis, who cannot step into 2026 acting like his spot is untouchable. I like Davis. Let's be real about that. When he is healthy, he is one of the most dangerous returners in the league, and that all-pro nod as a rookie was not handed to him because voters were feeling generous. He earned it on the field. But the NFL does not pay rent for great memories. He is entering a contract year. Injuries have mattered in each of the last 2 seasons, and now this roster is tighter, deeper, and more competitive. Jim Harbaugh has kept at least 6 wide receivers on the initial roster since he arrived. But this year, the math could get even nastier because other position groups are loaded too. And that is where this gets truly aggressive. If Davis wants to stay, he has to go take that role, not gently ask to keep it. Keaton Mitchell could get looks as a returner. Brennan Thompson could get those looks too. And Thompson is not just fast on paper. He was brought into a Mike McDaniel offense where horizontal speed, pre-snap motion, and bad defensive angles can become real weapons. But Davis has an actual answer. He gets up to speed faster in short areas, with a 1.46 10-yard split compared to Thompson's 1.54. That matters because not every speed play is a 40-yard race. Sometimes it is about winning the first 3 steps, forcing a defender to turn his hips, and turning one simple touch into panic. McDaniel knows how to use smaller explosive players. He does not have to view Davis as just a returner. He can put him in motion, use him on orbit action, build quick packages around him, and design plays that punish heavier defenses. But opportunity is not a lifetime gift. Davis enters camp with a track record, absolutely, but also with competition breathing right down his neck. And for the Chargers, that is the whole point. This roster is becoming too good for comfortable jobs. Produce, and you stay. Blink, and you become a debate. Now let's talk about a possibility that might not break the internet in the first minute, but could absolutely change the real ceiling of this team. Taylor Decker to the Chargers. And I'm going to say this with full fan energy. If there is a smart chance to protect Justin Herbert better, Los Angeles has to investigate it. This is not about chasing a flashy name. This is not about collecting veterans. This is about understanding that the entire season runs through number 17 staying upright. Because enough is enough. Enough treating an elite quarterback like he has to overcome broken structure, clean pressure, an inconsistent run game, and one scramble drill after another. Herbert is special, but even special talent needs time, angles, and trust. Jim Harbaugh knows that. Joe Hortiz knows that. The arrival of Joe Alt, the investment in the offensive line, and this shift toward a more physical brand of football all show the Chargers are tired of living off individual brilliance alone. The idea now is to hit first, own the trenches, control the tempo, make opposing defenses feel the game instead of just watching Herbert save drives with his arm. That is why Decker is an interesting name in the best possible way. A veteran tackle, tested in the league, used to trench warfare, can be more than just another extra piece. He can be insurance against chaos. And in the NFL, chaos always finds a way to show up. One injury, one dip in performance, one needed adjustment, and suddenly that depth that looked like a luxury becomes survival. Any fan who thinks you can have too much offensive line still has not learned how January works. Now, let's be aggressive about the other side too. The Chargers cannot pay desperation prices. If Decker wants too much money or walks in demanding an automatic starting job, then the conversation changes. Harbaugh is building competition, not premium retirement plans. But if the market opens a short, smart, competitive window, Los Angeles has to call. They have to test it. They have to put pressure on the negotiation. That kind of move would not be about winning headlines. It would be about winning half a second. And half a second with Herbert changes throws, changes third downs, changes scores, and changes seasons. McDaniel's offense can have speed, creativity, and motion, but all of that becomes decoration if the protection cracks. At the right price, Decker would send a brutal message to the league. The Chargers are not building a showcase. They are building protection so they can attack. Now we get to the part where the draft stops being a celebration and starts becoming accountability. Because picking players is fun in April, but in September the question gets stripped down fast. Who is actually going to play? And in this Chargers class, Jake Slaughter is the name that could feel that pressure quickly. He came out of Florida as a center, but the door is open at guard because Los Angeles moved on from both starters from last year. That is not a small detail. That is an invitation. If Slaughter handles the transition, learns the angles, the interior strength, and the communication next to the center, it is hard to imagine this team leaving a second-round pick on the bench just to wait. Then comes Brennan Thompson, who might be the most explosive value pick in this class. 4th round, 4.26 at the combine, real production at Mississippi State, 57 catches and 1,054 yards. That kind of speed does not ask permission. It forces defenses to respect space. And in a Mike McDaniel offense, speed is not decoration. It is a tool to manipulate coverage, open lanes, scare safeties, and give Herbert cheap answers. Thompson does not need to become a star in month 1. He needs to change the geometry of the field. Akeem Mesidor is the bet that looks 5 years ahead, not only at the first camp. He lands in an almost perfect situation, learning behind Khalil Mack and Tuli 2E Polo 2, working in as a rotational rusher, and growing without having to carry the entire defense on his back. If the development hits, the ceiling is a 3-down edge player. That is why I do not buy the lazy read that he is just another pass rusher. He could be the bridge to the next defensive identity. And then there is Travis Burke, the pick that deserves an honest debate. Massive size, 6'8", a tackle from Memphis, and the Chargers traded up for him. I understand the logic. Tackles like that are not just sitting on every shelf. But with Joe Alt, Rashawn Slater, and Trey Pipkins, you can question whether the investment matched the urgency. I want the fan base's read in the comments. Which pick would you defend with your chest, and which one still needs to convince you for real today? And now here comes that idea again. The one that refuses to die because it is loud. Deebo Samuel to the Chargers. I understand why the connection is tempting. Mike McDaniel worked in that San Francisco offense in 2021. Deebo had a monster season. Justin Herbert always deserves more weapons. And Los Angeles spent the entire offseason getting linked to every massive move. A.J. Brown, George Pickens, big free agents, blockbuster trades, heavy headlines. The problem is, the actual roster is not screaming for that right now. The Chargers did not move like a team desperate for a showcase star. They protected the compensatory pick formula, worked patiently in the market, turned 5 draft picks into 8, and added new speed to the room. That tells you something. McDaniel did not wait around for Deebo to get a tactical toy. He got Brennan Thompson, a 4.26 player who is cheap, young, moldable, and can bring return value and motion value in the same package. And then the question gets tough. Why force a 30-year-old veteran into a room that already has Ladd McConkey as the number 1? Quentin Johnston with his 5th-year option picked up, Trey Harris, Keandre Lambert-Smith, Thompson, Derius Davis, and still the shadow of a possible Keenan Allen return. Deebo still has value. 5 touchdowns last year in Washington, a career average of 13.6 yards per catch, physicality, experience, versatility. Nobody serious is pretending that is nothing. But that 1,405-yard explosion happened in 2021. It is 2026 now. The Chargers' offense needs fit, not nostalgia. If this were a ridiculously cheap opportunity, fine, have the conversation. As the main plan? No. His window with Los Angeles feels like it passed before it ever truly opened. In the end, everything comes back to the same message. The Chargers cannot operate like a team that accepts almost any more. Davis has to fight for a role. Decker only makes sense if he protects Herbert without wrecking the plan. Slaughter, Thompson, Mesidor, and Burke show a class full of opportunity, pressure, and real questions. And Deebo? Big name, fun debate, but maybe the wrong time. Los Angeles is building a roster where reputation is not enough. You have to fit, you have to produce, you have to survive camp. If you want to follow this fight from the inside, subscribe, hit the like button, and come back for the next video.